So Romanian deadlifts, or RDLs, are a really fantastic strength exercise for our posterior chain, AKA our glutes and our hammies. You might have different variations in your program, whether it's using dumbbells, kettlebells, barbells, but these setup tips and cues are going to apply regardless of what strength tool you're using to go about them. So one of the top complaints in Romanian deadlifts is feeling our low back kind of take over the movement. So a lot of the cues and setup tips I'm going to walk you through today are aimed at reducing that and getting the hamstrings and glutes to do the bulk of the work. The first thing you want to do is set up with a neutral spine. That means your rib cage is stacked directly over the hips. We don't want any kind of extra arch. We don't want any extra tucking or rounding. We want to start in that stacked position. That might mean feeling like you use a little exhale and pull your rib cage down, or that you untuck the glutes just a little bit if you tend to be more rounded. Once you're in that starting position, you want to have a soft bend in your knees. I like to say, pretend somebody came behind you and kind of booped you in the back of the leg, just that little bend. If we're too locked out, we're not gonna have a lot of space for our hamstrings to kind of lengthen and move backwards. So having just that soft bend in the knees is going to let you get a deeper hinge and let those hips move. One of the most helpful phrases I ever heard is, where your hips stop, your low back starts. So where our hips stop moving, if we go beyond that point, our low back is likely to take over. So that is your setup at the top of the movement. Whether you've got your barbell or your dumbbells in your hands, you are neutral, knees are soft, squeeze under your armpits, and you're ready to go. The second biggest struggle is, how low should you go in your RDL? Here's my little trick to find that. You're gonna find that setup position, braced, soft knee bend. You're gonna put an index finger on each of your hip bones. You are going to push those hip bones towards the wall behind you. Imagine you are spreading your butt cheeks apart. Sorry, not sorry, you'll understand, you'll get the feeling. Dangle your hands down. Where your knuckles kind of rub your leggings. This is the bottom of the movement. For most of us, that's gonna be the top of our shins, just below our kneecap. A helpful trick, if you've got chalk, is to actually draw a little chalk line by rubbing it on your knuckles, and then rub your knuckles on your pants, and that'll give you a little marker. If you really struggle with this, you can also use an external cue. I've got this little aerobic box set here. So this kind of correlates with the bottom of my movement. If I step up nice and close to it, right where the ends of those dumbbells kind of tap that box, for me, that's the bottom of my Romanian deadlift. So now that you've got an idea of your setup, which is your start and end position up top, and your depth, let's talk about actually executing the movement. 3 quick checks for your RDL execution. Your shins should stay relatively vertical. Once you've got that soft bend, think knees in cement. The movement is driven by your hips going backwards. And finally, you're not reaching out or down, your arms are just hooks holding the weight. By the hips driving backwards, the weight will lower, but it will stay over your midfoot. So 2 of the most common mistakes in an RDL are thinking of it as a pull and recruiting our low back, rather than a push through the floor. And reaching out, rather than keeping those dumbbells super close by either thinking about sliding them down our leggings or pulling them towards ourselves in a game of tug of war. Again, that same concept applies if you're using dumbbells, kettlebells, or a barbell. Hope that helps dial in your RDL and get you comfy with going nice and heavy. If you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me a DM or drop a comment in the group.